Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus began to teach them that the promised one of man must undergo great suffering and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He said all of this quite openly. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But turning and looking at his disciples, he rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." He called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If anyone wants to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. For what will it profit them to gain the whole world and forfeit their life? Indeed, what can they give in return for their life? Those who are ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of them the promised one will also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Today's Gospel is preceded by some events that are causing Jesus and the disciples to get the attention of the synagogue leaders. Jesus heals a blind man. Jesus and his cohorts feed people, miraculously, a lot of people with just a little bit of food. And those in power are feeling panicked. What's going on? And so we come to the opening scene. And Jesus and his disciples are leaving one town, and they're moving towards another. They're traveling towards another. And they're just chatting, and he asks them, "So, who do people say that I am?" And they answer, "Well, John the Baptizer, maybe Elijah, one of the prophets." And then Jesus goes a little bit deeper, and he says, "But who do you say that I am?" And Peter answers for the crowd, "You're the Messiah," right? So in Peter's way, he was always the first up, always has the first words. And if you notice in the gospel, there's an exclamation point after the word Messiah. It is indeed a big deal. The people have been waiting for a Messiah for a very long time. Someone of God, or God's self, to redeem them, to ransom them from the oppressive culture that they live in. But Jesus quenches their human thirst for power right away by telling them, "But don't tell anybody." What? Such great news? Are you kidding, Jesus? And then on top of this, Jesus tells them that the Messiah, the promised one, will have to suffer, be rejected, be put to death, and then will rise again 3 days later. Jesus laid it out in living color, gave the details. And so Peter takes Jesus aside. And this is where that rebuking thing comes in. "Jesus, no," says Peter. "If you're the promised one, then we have a plan. We are now more powerful than Caesar. No way are you going to die. You are God. No, now we can build big. We can get on the stock market. We can gain investors. We can be huge. We can be ornate. We can have others answer to us. We can do things the way we want them done. Come on, Jesus, get your head on straight," says Peter. And Jesus' reply might have sounded something like this. "You've got it wrong, Peter. I am not about this world's standards. Nope. Don't pull me down. This is not okay. I don't want wealth. I don't want power. No, because these things leave people empty. I want to be one with God. I want to be with people who are most in need. Okay, here's then where we come in. Jesus summoned the crowd and the other disciples. Listen up, folks. If you wish to follow me, I want you to do what I do. You must put your wants and desires second, practice sacrificial love, and do the things that I do. If you look only in life what's to benefit you, then you will come up empty, Jesus tells us. But if you put yourself second and pay attention to others' needs, you will be fulfilled. And if you cannot stand next to me today, then you won't see me standing next to you in the end. Deny yourself. What? Less of what I want? In this culture that tells me I can have anything I want, especially if I work for it? When you, the promised one, you can make anything happen? But Jesus says to us exactly, no glory. It's not easy and it is inconvenient. And I say, wait, you mean that on that Friday in March you want me to come out at night and make 300 sandwiches? I already went out to buy food and other things at ShopRite. Or you want me to come out on Saturday morning, that's for you, and feed people on the streets of Newark? But what if it's raining? And what if I'm tired? And what if I was up late the last night? And what if it's cold? And Jesus' reply is, that's okay. Deny yourself some modern conveniences, some of our modern comforts, because there is somebody who's worse off than you are. And I say, wait, you mean I have to say I'm sorry if I got into a scuffle with somebody? That I have to take the blame? And Jesus says, yes, if you hurt somebody, yeah, you need to say you're sorry. And I say, oh wait, Jesus, are you asking me to be on the council? You know those meetings are so long. You know those meetings are at night. What difference does it make? And Jesus replies, oh yeah, it does make a difference. Saying yes to being on council is saying yes to being a leader in the church. The church needs you. The world needs you. Because the church and the world need Christ. And I say, wait, Jesus, are you asking me to develop a relationship with someone who has disabilities? This is uncomfortable for me. I just don't know what to say. There's always somebody else. To which Jesus replies, yes, there is. But I want others to know me through you. Your voice, your tenderness, your love. And I say, you want me to pay attention to people who have been abused or raped? I don't even know who these people are. What can I do? And Jesus replies, you can take up your cross by contacting your representative, by asking them to make safer places for people. There are online groups that help you to do this, like Sisters Against Human Trafficking, or Global Relief, once known as Lutheran World Services. And they work with people in need. So if you can support them, then even once removed, you're helping people in need. Indeed, all of these are crosses in some way or another. You could probably think of a lot more. But they're invitation crosses. They're Jesus' invitation to us. Meaning that there's already people who are under the pain of a cross with little choice or help. But for us to take up our cross is to live in sacrificial love for others in need and help them. You and I will hear God's voice in our hearts, and that voice will invite us forward, and we can follow that voice, and that is to follow Christ. So, there's a lot being asked of us out there in the Narthex. Next week, you might choose to bring in a 2-pound bag of rice, or some dried beans, or some shelf-stable milk, or toothbrushes, or toothpaste, or whatever else is being asked. As you are able, please do something. But here's the important thing. No one is being asked to go so far as to be abused. No one is to be a doormat. No one is to be bullied into doing anything. Each person's sacrificial love is simply this: your ability to love and live and give within your safe parameters. Jesus is asking us to pick up our cross, kind of like Simon of Cyrene did when he helped Jesus on his way to Calvary. We don't have to bear the whole cross, but if we help others, they may find a way out of under their cross. Nourished by the Word and the Eucharist, strengthened by our baptism and this community of faith, we can take up our cross and begin to change the world. One step at a time. One donation at a time. One event at a time. May God bless us on our journey.